What's the on the beat, can't slow down my boots, on my feet, can't move. Lifestyle not right, at least I'm on my own. They don't love me now, but they love when I'm home. I got demons in my face and they'll never leave me alone. I got brothers upstate, niggas won't make it home. Tell them on their head, tell them do it for the fam. While these faggot fuck boys out here doing for the gram. I just do it cause I can and I am who I am. One West warrior, my change is big. I see shit differently, speak with efficiency. Shit, can't nobody get with me. Yeah, it's our monsters ball. I mean, we can do it, get the blocks involved. I mean, cause you do it, let them shots ring off. I mean, get right to it, we ain't got that long. Come still sipping plenty, hit it straight with my dinner day. Pretty face and her pretty shape like a figure eight. I just made the hustle escape, cause she feeling great, not a race, but she finished first and I finished late. I don't really sleep, but I rest when I'm buried though. That trinity shorty took your auntie and the go. She can get up on it, walk around like a merry-go. Got me on my stereo, ooh, killing Diego. I just really love it, shit, I'm on it. All right. All right, Shalom Israel. This is the Isupk coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. I'm Officer of 1,000 Law Gun, and today we have an Isupk Law class. All right. So today, what we're gonna get into is the importance of the God's law. Right. We're gonna get into the point of the fact that God's law is our culture when it boils down to it. We tend to get caught up in every kind of culture that it is, except our own. And a lot of people don't understand why the Isupk never has a problem But people never understand why we never have a problem being considered in a cult, right? Or you might see us wear a shirt that says cult leader. Well, break down what that word means, right? Let's get that. Let's get culture as a definition, which is an Isupk thing. We actually look up definitions, right? Let's get it. Y'all about some thought? What's going on, Warrior? Let me know if you hear anything. An apostle rib, I stick it up. All right. Let's get that culture. All right, the word culture, the general breakdown of this is customs, arts, social institutions, achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group, right? So when we look at the definition of things, we realize stuff is not always such a bad word. So you got to ask yourself, something Black, Hispanic, or Native American man, or woman, and child, what is your culture? What cult do you belong to? Because guess what? Whether you know it or not, you're in one right now. If you think, okay, I'm not in y'all cult, you're in a cult, right? And we're gonna get that too. We can start off with the Christian church, right? That's a crazy cult. There's different kinds of cult out there. The Christian church just happens to be one that makes no damn sense if you Black, Hispanic, or Native American, right? If you're gonna be a part of something, know why you're a part of it, know why you came from it, because you have no choice. You will be a part of something, right? So let's get what we're supposed to be looking at. I'm gonna get a very simple script. We're gonna keep it simple today. And if we got any questions, type them in the chat. We're gonna have a call in set up next week where you can call in to the class and speak if you got something to say. Let's get Deuteronomy. This is our wisdom. This is our understanding. Let's get Deuteronomy 4 and 6. Give me a second to get there with you. All right. Y'all know how my phone be doing. Bear with me. All right. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded you. Right? Keep these for thee and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding. Right? These are the things we're supposed to be understanding, not what's going to happen in this wicked world. Right now, what's going on in the earth right now is you got these wicked holidays. You got Thanksgiving just passed. We are in one of the most wickedest times in the world right now because people have to celebrate these wicked holidays all over the planet. All over the planet, right? So it's almost forced on you. Things are shut down and all that kind of stuff. Shout out to Houston for having a cookout a few weeks ago. Gave our people something to do. You know what I'm saying? Help each other fight these demons because that's the time that we in. And the most important part about what I'm saying today about our culture is that our culture is our protection, right? Our culture, us following our own culture, will keep us out of these times when you can die. You can lose your child. You can lose everything you had. This is a time when everybody's going to witness some kind of loss. You're better off going through these things with your people that are like-minded. Because even in your so-called church house, even in your so-called whatever you believe in, you don't have unity and mindset in what you believe in. There are some people in churches that are okay with homosexuality, some people in churches that are not. Some people in church smoke weed, some people don't. Some people in church are okay with the child molester and age limits and stuff like that. You know, not having age limits. Some don't, right? So you don't have unity in what you believe in. The Muslim mosque, there's like 10 different kind of Muslim mosques. They got Muslims, all this kind of crap. And now Farrakhan is saying, he's a Scientologist now. There's no unity in what you believe in. The only place you're going to find a unity is in the truth of the Isupk. And I say that because we are the only group that has held the same doctrine since 1969. And most people that we know right now, if you're of age, you know what I'm saying, most of us was before we were born, right? So you can't name too many things that the doctrine stayed the same from that long. And that's why this is important. That's why times in this year you want to really buckle down on your culture. You want to buckle down on following your people. And if you can have no one in your area following that culture, then what does that mean? You should be the one to follow that culture. You should be the one to do that. Right? So lucky. I gotta change that title. It's supposed to be the God's Law. So lucky. I do that for class. But the title up there, of course, is supposed to be God's Law is our culture, right? That's what we're talking about today, right? We'll change that title later. But understanding that culture gives you power, right? And let's get started. Let's get Amos 4:6, or Hosea 4:6. All right? Lack of knowledge. If anybody can get it before I get there, let's pull that, right? Because believe it or not, all this goes into warfare. What we're about to come up on right now with this World War III, what you're going to be learning in these classes right now can save your life day to day. Right? Day to day. Starting to fall into this doctrine that the Most High left for you. The only doctrine that should matter. Right? Salaki. Mawas. That's Salaki. Well, I'm trying to say your name right. Y'all about to check what's going on, world. Type in the chat if you got any questions. All right. Let's get Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Right? All right, we all know. Now, the blackity blacks even know this, right? Knowledge is power. Knowing what you're supposed to be doing and not supposed to be doing in different situations in life, that is knowledge. You hear people talk about game, they're talking about knowledge, having information about something that you can use to your benefit. Well, guess what? The benefit of you knowing that your culture is to not celebrate these holidays can do what for you? Who can give me a direct benefit to not celebrating these holidays? Like automatic. It's very carnal, but you deal with it every day. All right? If anybody got anything? All right, if not, I'm gonna say it for you. Money, right? Let's just put that. That's a immediate benefit you have to following the Most High. Right? You can actually save money at this time of year by not getting to it with the holidays, right? You can also have protection of you and your family, right? If
you have someone in your family, that in your household that wants to celebrate a holiday, you do what you have to do to not partake in that spirit. It's somewhere you have to be. With different scenarios where you're younger or live with someone, they may put a Christmas tree up, and you don't want it. You don't have to still celebrate Christmas. That's why the Most High gave us the laws that He did give us. The way He gave us, He said, wherever you go possess, you possess your room you're in. The bed you're in. You can lay in the bed. You can go to work. On that day. A lot of brothers choose to go in their slaveries on that day to stay away from stuff like that, right? And make more money. Be out the way of all the madness that goes on these wicked holidays. That's going to continue to happen, right? So, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. So, our people have chosen to celebrate these wicked holidays, right? And that's why we cannot get under this thing called a curse, right? When you think of a curse, right? Don't think of a curse as like, a witch or something doing something. Think of a curse more was a cause and effect. If you do this, you're open to this happening, right? Right? If this happens to you, if you go follow this path, you're subject to this happening. That's the curse that we're on. The Most High gave us an option to follow His law and know this is not going to happen, or you cannot follow His law, and then this may happen to you. Now, you would be a very, very unwise person to want to live your life like that, right? That's your wisdom, right? When I just went back to Deuteronomy 4 and 6, 4 and 7, and told you, this is your wisdom, this is your understanding, nothing else is going to protect you right now. Nothing can protect your wife, your children, your husband, no one, nothing. Because guess what? No man can buy us, right? So you can't go and get a job and get a great job and buy all the weapons and have all the money and think you this and that and think nothing gonna happen to you. We see it every day with these celebrities. They have no protection. They're allowed to make money until something happens to them, right? A lot of times these people that's in these Hollywoods, they got a lot of money. They got their money by owing some rich devil a favor, right? And by them giving, opening themselves up to owing that devil something, who knows what the payback is or when they come back and pay it back. And that's why a lot of these superstars have to keep their mouth shut about certain things. That's why you just saw the thing with our brothers Kanye and Kendrick, and all those brothers end up looking like crazy men because they don't have the actual knowledge of who we are. They know we're Israelites, but as we say every week, it's a lot more than just knowing you are an Israelite. It's a whole lot more to that, right? Let's get some more on that. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, right? So your Christian pastor is telling you it's okay to celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving and New Year's and all this stuff coming up. Guess what? He ain't no priest to the Most High. He is going to be least in the kingdom. That's what the scriptures say about him. He will be least in the kingdom, right? And this is a time now where this law of God is going to be very, very important. Not for the reasons you think too. A lot of times people see us in the eyes, we can't think we're all about just going toe to toe and going and shoot guns and stuff. We do that stuff, right? We teach self-defense. But the war that we have to fight is going to be within ourselves first. And the only what I mean within ourselves is not just a personal battle, it's how you're going to treat your brothers and sisters, right? And how we know that, what scripture do we have to know that is the most important part of the law? I'm going to give you a few seconds to type that in if anybody got it. What's the two most important laws? Right? And while I'm waiting on you to get that, I'm going to pull it. All right, nobody got it? All right. Matthew 22 and 37. All right. Let's start at 36 just to make sure we get the full context. All right. So Christ is out around the Sadducees and Pharisees and other brothers out here, right? Then one of them, which is a lawyer, right? And that's funny they say a lawyer because lawyers always, that was a reason they let you know he was a lawyer. He's somebody who's always the Lord is gonna find whether you're right or wrong. They're gonna try to find a loophole, and this is how Christ dealt with him. Right? He asked him asked him a question, tempting him and saying, Master, which is the greatest in the commandment in the law? And Christ said unto him, Thou shalt love thy God with all thy heart. Let's get that part first. How do you love the Most High with all your heart? Right? When you say you love the Most High with all your heart, that means what? What is heart synonymous with in the Bible? Because it's not talking about this thing pumping in your chest, right? It's not just talking about that. When it say you love him with all your heart, when somebody say, man, that brother got heart, right? Or that sister, or you saying that sister has a heart, right? Even though that means two different things. They're saying that sister has a heart, she's gentle, she's nice, she's giving, she's compassionate. You saying that brother has heart, right? I mean, he's not a coward. I mean, that brother was willing to die for what he believes in. So what in this context is he talking about with all your heart? All your heart means no one can throw you off your square following the Most High God. That means when you go out to your job, when you go amongst your family, when you're in a position where people are trying to force this on you, you have the love of the Most High. Because you have to really love the Most High to actually do this in private. This is where the separation always comes in at between brothers who are in the truth and who are not really in the truth. Everybody's gonna have, and I mean everybody has situations where someone is going to coerce them to try to celebrate these holidays. That's how big this demon is. You're gonna have to stay in a huddle, in a hole for another 2 months if you don't want anybody to even test you a little bit about these holidays. The spirit is so strong. I know this, and I know the spirit for all of them is strong because this year a lot of you had issues with Juneteenth. Juneteenth came around, a lot of people went to their job, and 4th of July, it's like Esau, like, okay, we gave y'all Juneteenth. You gonna celebrate 4th of July. Right? They tried to force that. I know people who personally had issues at their job, saying I don't celebrate 4th of July. Right? And that was somewhat of a minor holiday. That spirit is growing in the earth. I saw that with my own eyes. So imagine every holiday Esau that has, they're gonna try to amp that up. They're gonna try to amp that up. Only reason they didn't pump up Veterans Day like they did this year because they're getting ready to go to war and they don't want them soldiers scared. If you notice that, they tone that down just a little bit because they need guys in the military. Talking about the ones who are dead keeps you out of it. Makes them think twice about wanting to go. That's a little trick Esau just tried to pull, right? And I actually am hearing people talk about joining the military. This is an actual thing. That's how quick our people are getting bamboozled out here, right? But understand what he was saying right here. He's saying he loved him with all thy heart. It's a lot of getting off subject like that. But he said you love him with all thy heart. That means you follow his law in all the things you do. And how do you do that? How do you instinctively follow God's law, right? Without making it nothing hard. How do you do that, right? What do you have to get? What do you have to? I'm just gonna get it. I'm gonna print this out and get it for you, okay? He said you have to love this with all thy heart. Now I'm gonna hold this and get what I'm talking about, right? All right. Their forehead. If anybody having a problem trying to hear me, let me know. All right. I'm trying to get the scripture about the law on your forehead. Shalakia. If anybody get it before I get there, let me know. Law on your forehead. This one I'm doing the Watusa. All right, it's Deuteronomy 6 and 6. Let's get that. Salakia. All right, you got it in the chat. Type it in for me. All right, and these Salakia. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine hearts. Right. So that kind of cuts out us saying that he's talking about just your pump. He's talking about being in you, right? To where you see a homosexual, you get disgusted. You see somebody smoking, you get disgusted. You see a woman being a whore, you get disgusted. It should be a natural thing that's gonna be your light to get to where you need to go in life. The protection that you need. We think it's in getting some kind of new get rich quick scheme and stuff like that. That's not where it's gonna be at, right? And thou shalt bind them for a sign. So like I'm skipping out a little bit, right? You should teach them diligently unto thy children, right? Teach them diligently to thy children, which is key, right? For keeping this going. That's how we grew up not knowing what the law was. Our parents didn't teach it us because they didn't know no better. They stuck that white Jesus up in our face and our great-grandparents' face. And most of our grandfather, I know mine did, he just threw the church away and became a gangster, became a riffraff in the street because he didn't believe in God. Because he knew his God couldn't be no white man, right? But that's what they put up in our face, when they put that picture of Christ up. And he didn't teach his children diligently in his word because he didn't believe in it. That's how the generation got broke off. What you're in right now is the generation that's getting picked back up, which is a great time to be a part of this. That's why this stuff seems so hard to grasp for some. And they like, why has this not been a thing? Why am I hearing about this now? A lot of people cannot come into the truth for the simple fact that they haven't heard of it their whole life. They can't start following the laws of God because they've been surviving their whole lives without following the laws of God. They're saying, why all of a sudden now is it important for me not to do this? Well, we go to a doctor after eating bad for all these years, and he may not say don't eat pork, but when that doctor tells you you're about to die from something, from smoking or just being old age, you might have anything. It could have been something very simple that may have came upon you. That whatever that doctor tells you to stop doing, you do it. But when you hear something spiritual, right? I'm not telling you that you eat pork tomorrow, you're gonna die. We're not telling you that you go tomorrow and sleep with a whore, you're gonna catch AIDS. We're telling you, you know better now. So it's gonna happen to you, right? I'm not telling you it's gonna happen to you tomorrow, right? But our mindset is, okay, well, I've been doing this my whole life. So this ain't gonna hurt me. That's the mindset we have when it comes to God. Is my point, right? But if somebody else tell you something carnal right in front of you, got to show up an X-ray and all this stuff here, you believe it right away. It's the same thing. So at some point you have to realize I've been given by what? By the grace of the Most High God. Shalom, Yahweh Shalom Kathar, so on one. Understand that, right? So let's keep going on that, right? And unto thy you shall talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest by thy way. This is how you get this on your brain all day. You have to think about the law of God when you wake up in the morning. You know by you doing that, what you won't do, you won't wake up and think about sleeping with that brother's wife. You won't wake up thinking about who you into it with. You wake up worried about how you can please the Most High God in this way. Because some of us wake up in situations and you get out your door, it's an opportunity to commit a sin. You can go somewhere to breakfast. Somebody got sausage or shrimp. You hungry. You deal with stuff. It's right in front of you every day. Where you can show that you are following the Most High God. And when you start doing that, people will start asking questions about this truth. People will begin to say, okay, that brother that doesn't do this, that. What does he do? Then they'll realize stuff they can do that the church told them they can't do. Like for instance, you don't have to get married, to be considered. You don't have to walk down the aisle to be married. You don't have to Gambling is not a sin, stuff like that. Saying a curse word is not a sin. It's rude, but it's not a sin, right? Understand that once you learn the law of God, you learn that there is actual freedom in it. Once you learn it, right, you're giving up the freedom of the world, but you become free in this truth. You become less oppressed. And I'm going to show you how they oppressed us by us not following. One of the curses of how they do that. That affects their children, right? Right? And thou shalt bind them. You're going to walk us by the way, and when thou lies down, and when thou rises up, it has to be on your brain. So that is what they say. When they talk about the mark of the beast, you can have a mark two different ways. You can have a mark of the Lord, or you can have a mark of the beast. Right? People that are celebrating these holidays and these birthdays and all these days that have nothing to do with the Most High, they have the mark of the beast, which came from what? Right? Came from Christianity. Right? That's where the mark of the beast came from. Right? That's what I mean. But you have the mark of the Lord, you see that stuff and you automatically go against it. You automatically fight that spirit. You have the mark of the Lord. If you have the courage to stand up and resist being a whoremonger, being a whore, being a liar, being a thief, being unbrotherly. That's what we have to understand. That's the spirit we're going to have in these trying times, because everybody's going to go through some things now that this World War III rumor has actually become a real thing. The prophecy is becoming true. Right? We're already in what they call Jacob's trouble, so don't worry about that. You got to learn how to get through it now. You have to actually learn how to use brotherhood and sisterhood and go without some things and sacrifice your liberty to do what you want to do for the sake of a nation. Right? Understand that. Right? And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand. What does it mean when it say bind them for a sign upon thy hand? When you bind them for a sign upon your hand, that means what? This is your action. Right? This is the action that you're going to take. Right? When you know what I'm saying, that's what they're saying. You have a mark in your hand. When they say the mark of the beast in your hand, they talk about going to the military, going to fight in Esau wars, going to do these things right here. Right? But if you bind the laws of God up in your hand, you won't fold. If you got a rib who's not in the truth that celebrates holidays, you're not gonna fold. You wouldn't have let her leave and take the kids if she have to. If she wants to make you put some damn gifts on that tree this year, you have to fight that spirit. That's what it means when they say gird up your loins. That's the war, and you can win that war. Even if that war means losing your rib, even if that war means losing your children for a time. The Most High always rewards his warriors, and you got to war for him first. So if you be a coward, you're going to celebrate that holiday for that woman. You're going to give her what she wants, right? You're going to do something for her birthday. You're going to do all this kind of stuff. And then guess what? She's still going to leave you because she's not going to respect you because you don't stand up for anything, right? Because you don't stand up for anything, right? That's what he has to understand. All right? That's what you got to understand. If you don't stand up for anything, no one will respect you anyway. And the worst thing you can be is someone who joins the truth and then leaves the truth, right? Because then you're going to make it like you just had a phase. And nothing else that comes out of your mouth is going to ever sound, legit, right? So let's get that. Let's keep going. Let me pull that back up here. All right? And thou shalt bind them for a sign, and they shall be on the frontals between thine eyes. This is the frontals between thine eyes. So that's what that scripture is talking about when it says that, right? That's what he's talking about. So when he says within my heart, have it on your mind and on your heart. All right? So let's go back to Matthew 22 and finish that one up. It's like in Matthew 22 and 37. All right. All right. We're going back to what Christ said about the law, the two greatest laws, right? You're going to love the Lord with all thy heart. That's what we just went into. All right. And with all thy soul and with all thy mind, everything you do, right? Because when you go and do things of sin, that's you saying you hate the Most High. You saying that sin is more important, that you don't really, you're not fearing him, right? When you tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna do this today, I'm gonna be all right, I ain't gonna kill me today. You have no real fear of the Most High. And I'm not talking about a fear of a shaky fear in the arms of reverence. You don't respect the Most High. But we're always getting down on our knees praying, that he does something for us. But the small things he asks us not to do so we can help clean this earth up, which you will be doing. The laws of God help clean the earth all the way around. Clean you up first, then the people around you, then the environment around you. It has levels to it, but you got to follow the first rules first. The ones you hear and know, this don't sound right. Right? Let's keep going. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Now, you think that's a simple law, right? But just think about anything you've ever done wickedly to someone else. If you understood this law, right? That if you love your brother like you love yourself. Now, the issue that our people are actually having right now, we don't love ourselves first. We haven't taken the time to actually love the person that we have become because we know we have been so wicked. So some of us think we deserve certain things. You got to get out of that mindset where you think you deserve to die. You think you deserve to be poor. You think you deserve to be disrespected. That's why the scripture doesn't go over for our people, because we have learned this thing called self-hate. To where that self-hate makes us think other nations are greater than you. So you don't really know what it means to treat somebody how you want to be treated, because we're to the point now we'll take anything. We'll take whatever they put in front of us and just try to make something out of it. That's what we did when they put us in the prison systems. We learn how to make that look cool. Put us in the projects, learn how to make that look cool. Gave us food stamps, learn how to make that look cool. Whatever they throw at us, we make it look like a kosher thing. Child support, pants sagging, murdering, killing. That's not our culture. That's what they gave us, and we made it our culture. We hate ourselves so much, we think it's cool to have broken families, children in jail, going to jail, being a felony, being a rapper, being someone who can't read, stuff like that. That's self-hate. That's why we don't really understand what Christ is trying to tell us. You got to look at yourself as a princess or a prince of the power. On both ends, man and female have to look at ourselves and say, hey, we are God's chosen people. We hold ourselves to a standard. And once we begin to do that, guess what? We treat our brothers how we know we deserve to be treated. I'm not going to shortchange my brother because I know I don't deserve to be shortchanged. I'm not going to leave my sister because I don't deserve to be left. I don't deserve to be mistreated. I'm not going to mistreat my sister. I'm not going to leave my children because I know they need me. Right? That's the mindset you have to kill. This law is just not words on a piece of paper. You have to take these laws and apply them to your everyday life. That's what I'm beating your head every day that we're talking. Every time you see us talking now, these laws or something, what happens in the world when you see on Commander Junior Hunter Black Watch, General Muhammad's class, this is stuff to help you with day-to-day issues. Preparing for Christ's return. Because this is what he's telling you is the most important thing right now. He's telling you this. So he is the one that you got to come to his standard. Not your own. And you cannot grasp this if you don't take in the knowledge of who you are first. Right? Right? So what else we got here, man? So all that goes into what? What? Being a doer of the word. Doing what Most High said to do. Following him to the T and taking the persecution for it. Because the law is easy for us to do. The hard part is taking the criticism that comes with it. The hard part is throwing it year in and year out, no matter whether life is going good for you or going bad for you. You're going to keep the law of God. You're going to make sure that the Most High God is represented in your life, no matter what's going on. You will be tested the same way the brother Job was. Our people do get tested on a regular basis, right? All right, so all right, we got that. So understand those are the two major laws that we have to understand, that we have to stick with, that we cannot fold on, and that we cannot not even the least bit trim your ways. All right. Matter of fact, let's get that. Let's get that. Jeremiah, I think it's Jeremiah 2:33. This is something we do a lot. All right. This is Jeremiah 2:33. Why trimmest thy ways? Thy way to seek love. Right? Why you trimming your ways to seek love? You know, that's the hardest part, really. Even though the law is easy to do, the hard part is not receiving the love that you once received. Some of us were very popular people when we were in the world. Some of us were not, right? But everybody always wants to feel love. You want to feel so. Now, when I say love, I'm not talking about, it's a manly kind of love, it's a female kind of love. Whatever love that makes you happy. We need that sometimes from people, right? And sometimes it's just your mother or a family member or someone that you have feelings for or whatever. Or just sometimes, right now, the world we in right now, it's like we in the social media world. We in the social media world right now where that's the little likes and shares and views. And yes, people can show support for those things. Like people can show support for these things, right? But that's not love, right? That's not what the love you want to be caught up in. But that's what somebody can show support to. That what I mean. So a lot of times that makes it hard for you to follow the Most High God. You got to realize that the Most High didn't come. He came and brought this to bring division, right? So those very people that you think you want respect from, that you want love from, that you want to be accepted from, they want to reject your God, and that has to offend you, right? You have to understand. You have to be cunning about how you go about dealing with these people, especially if there are people that are in position where they can affect your life. Your boss, your wife, your children, even. Close friends that have information on you. Stuff like that. You want to be a person that can fend off not needing those things. That can fight the spirit of having to have those things. So like, that's the only way you're gonna be able to do it. Christ did not come to be like lovey-dovey with people. He was a very honorary man who was about his business. So if you're gonna be in the spirit he's in, that's gonna mean that some people are gonna be offended by you because of his truth. There's nothing wrong with offending somebody because of the truth, right? They need to be offended. The shock he has to be offended some kind of way. Because they don't do that, then guess what? If you're not doing that, then you're trying to please them, they're going to continue to sin. So let's get that. Why trimmest thy ways to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. So what they're saying is the people that are watching you, when you come into this truth, when you start saying you are an Israelite, becoming an Israelite means what? People are we're gonna rock your double dog. If you're a brother, you might grow your hair out, you might get your beard out, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna move a little differently eventually. If you're a sister, stuff you used to wear, you don't wear no more. Places you will go, conversations and talking about other people and gossiping and all that kind of stuff, and lying on people and all that extra stuff just to go on in your life, you're gonna cut that short. People are gonna notice this, right? And they're gonna decide to respect or stay away from you. You gotta be ready for either one. Right? Sometimes really not give a damn about it, because the ones that truly are gonna love you. The beautiful thing about being in the truth, right? I'm gonna give you a little gift. You come into this truth, you meet people you don't even know. But that law of God is what bonds us together. Behind the law of God that I live by, if I have an issue with my brother, I have to speak with my brother before counsel. Well, first of all, I got to go to that brother one-on-one first. Then we go to a council. And when that council is done, you get over it. You forgive that brother if he was choosing wrong, or if you was wrong, he forgive you. That's not in the earth right now. Right? People don't have to, people not forced to forgive each other. You're forced sometimes to not do anything about it because you can't go out and murder someone when you're mad at. But that spirit that's in you that hates that person, that don't want them around you, is lingering on in your life. Even if that person has went on about their business and don't care about you, don't care anything about it, you have to learn to forgive and let certain stuff go when it comes to your brother and sister. Because by you doing that, you're going to start to look at who actually you are supposed to be hating. And that is your enemy. That's the bastard that stole your culture and made you think you was an African American or nigga, just a nigga, or whatever byword they had from us, coon, whatever. You learn to have your hatred towards them, a righteous hatred, so when you can function at work and know that you're working around the devil. You can have a conversation with your brother and sister and actually learn to show compassion. Some we are not taught, right? Right? So let's get that. So let's also in thy skirts is found the blood of the souls of poor innocents. So the Most High is going to reveal you. If you're out saying you are an Israelite, if you're out, just representing what the so-called the truth is, the Most High reveals that. There's nothing else that's going to happen with, right? So when I say that, right, and let me Salaki, excuse me when I'm saying that. Whenever you act like you're a man of God, the Most High reveals you. And anywhere, with a Christian pastor, everybody. He's working with the church, period, right now. All the pastors have been exposed, but our people are so locked in, he's going to have to do a little bit more. A little bit more is going to come out when you learn about what it means when you actually get up and go to Sunday service. When you get up and take your shirt, you're going to actually get an idea of why that is so wicked. It's not registering with our people right now. Even after COVID, it's going to register, that the Muslim mosque was not the answer. They're telling you all the time, if you're a Muslim or Muslim or whatever, Farrakhan has came over and said he believes in Christ. Everybody's coming to the point now when at least they say they believe in Christ, right? They have, these people with all this money have access to information, right? You think it's coincidence he's saying that now? They know what time we're in. It's the lower of us, the ones that he really wants to touch, that he does not know. Salat, pause. That he really wants to get to. The ones that don't have an idea of what he really wants us to be. We're the ones that he saw that our oppressor has us scrambling around, not knowing what's up, word paycheck to paycheck, that kind of stuff. All right? All right? So I have not found it by search, but upon all these, right? He's saying he's not found this by search, but upon all these, it's going to be very obvious to see your wickedness. Y'all shema thumb by y'all shower going on like the shower, see. All right. Yea, thou shalt go forth from him, and thy hands of Salaki. I read too far. Yet thou sayest, because I am innocent, surely his anger shall turn from me. Right? We say we're innocent, but when you don't follow the law of God, you cannot say that you are innocent. You cannot say that because your blood is going to be on your hands if you know better, right? If you're hearing us on these street corners, if you're seeing these prophecies, if you noticing the Isupk is arising right before your very eyes, that's the truth, right? Understand the Commander General Hunter has been right this whole time, and your spirit still tells you, them niggas crazy, you still fighting that spirit, right? That blood going to be on your hand because the Most High may need you to come into the truth to save your whole family. You being that one to come into that truth, male or female, can protect your child, can down the road, your grandmother, whoever you say you love, those people, you will be protecting these people, right? If you love them, Now, if they come outright against the Most High, you can't do nothing for them. But the ones who are still on the fence for it, you may be that one that's needed to come in and show what the truth is. Show how to actually live it. That's what Christ did. That was what Christ did for us. He was that one that came in and showed us it could be done. And out of all that, he started off, if anybody knows how many people did Christ have with him, up under him when he first started, listening to him, following him, showing him love. Anybody know? A roundabout number. He had 5,000 men under him, following him, literally. 5,000, right? So when he died, he had what? He had 12. He had 12 men still following. I mean, that truth got hard for a lot of people. It got to where they could not, keep dealing with the hardness of it, the lack of love, the lack of fame, the lack of whatever you want to call it. Whatever they were searching out for that was obviously carnal and not spiritual caused them to leave the greatest man ever walked the planet. So you got to make sure that we are not in that spirit to where we're so easily pushed away from this truth. We're so easily shying away from following God. When you see a brother doing things right, when you don't quite understand it. The law is all about communication as well. It's about communicating with brothers and sisters, right? Let's get that. Keep going. All right? Because we're going to think we're innocent in all this, right? He said, I will plead with thee because thou sayest I have not sinned, right? Pleading from the Most High does not mean that he's going to come begging you to do anything. The time of trying to, when Christ comes back, there's not going to be a mercy period. No, the plea means it's going to be shed blood, right? People are going to be dying. It'll be too late. So you don't want to do that. It's time for you to do it now. So you have to get that fear from. Let's get another one that you have to do first. Because we're really getting into the steps that it takes, to follow the Most High. Right? Psalms 111. Right? It's a lot. No, so like Psalms chapter 111. All right, 111 and verse 10. All right. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. What does that mean? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Right? So what that means is you have to first fear what will happen if you don't follow God's law. A lot of times, brothers and sisters, when they come into the truth, that God put them through something in life or death to get them in here. They come in here and they have their head on fire in a good way about this truth, right? So some people are like that, some people that happened to. The Most High strongly chose them, and they came in here with their head on fire and will never leave because they know what death is. Some people come in, they notice their other brothers going through certain things. That's the fear of God. That's what fear of God is. Seeing something or going through something and realizing, okay, that is God. How do I avoid that life? How do I avoid being like that? Because when we tell you the kingdom of heaven is here, that's a real thing. You can decide your state that you're in now. We're not telling you to die and go to heaven. We're telling you can change things in your life now by having your head on fire about following the law of God. About making sure you aggressively follow God in every chance you get. Opportunities through your face, like I said, all throughout the day, through your daily life. You aggressively push this truth. Aggressively, live this lifestyle in the dark when nobody can see you. That's how he knows you're a worthy soldier. But so that fear of the Lord is you understanding what can happen to you if you don't follow him, right? That's the beginning of wisdom. Because we have all these other questions, you know what I'm saying? When you come into when you start reading the Bible, you want to know about this, you want to know about that, you want to read this, why they buried here, why this happened, why ain't know this of them, all that kind of stuff. That stuff will come to you, man. But you're not gonna get it if you can't even stop celebrating. What the hell good is you knowing Will Moses was buried or why dinosaurs ain't in the Bible if you just finna go celebrate Christmas anyway? If you ain't did the first thing you're supposed to do is not serve no other gods. That's in the 10 Commandments. Do not serve no other God. You know Christ's birthday ain't not on 25th, right? You know Thanksgiving was about murder. You know New Year's ain't the New Year because it's still cold. No, it's not naturally, cannot be a New Year. All these things, right? God against God. You go and do them anyway. So why would he give you inner mysteries and understanding of what's in this Bible? All of it is very simple. But the first thing we got to do is follow what he said, do the simple things, right? Don't sleep with another man's woman. That's a simple thing. We're not gonna stop doing it because it's too much pleasure in that. That's the problem that we have. That's what we have to stop allowing to go on in our community. All right. All right. You got any questions here? All right. So like we're gonna keep it going here. So we got people who are. So another thing we gotta do with this law is stick to it. Like what Christ said. Christ said, not one jot or one tittle. So no wise passing the law. So that goes back into you following this law when no one else will see you. Not just doing it when brothers or sisters are around and stuff like that, right? So let's get this last one here. Talk about this family. That's the most important thing right now. We want to make sure we got the family intact. And I'm gonna show you a curse that's happened with the Black and Hispanic community. That's all the way back in Deuteronomy. 28. Right. Let's get it. Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Right? Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies. So like, we start at 47, right? All right. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness, right? We look at serving the Most High God like a sad thing, right? Thou serve the Lord thy God with joyfulness. Service not the Lord thy God with joy, and with gladness of heart, and for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. We are serving people that are against thee. We're not serving people that are for us. Who's Uncle Sam? That's a white man, right? We say Uncle Sam all the time. It's a known thing. Uncle Sam is a white man, right? Rocky. Got a little bug on me. Had to keep it going though. No excuses, right? All right. Understand that, right? He said, therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, right? In nakedness, we are sent against thee. In hunger, all the major food corporations, none of them are owned by anybody Black or Hispanic. That's a fact, right? In thirst, water companies. So Booster try to give some water. You know, we got a couple brothers and sisters out here got water now, of course. But you know, everything. Let's look at this. This place of tissue that I just wipe my nose with. Black and Hispanic don't even own that. We need everything, right? Everything comes through our oppressor, whether you believe it or not. And if you got your own business, you paying who you paying off of saying them taxes. You got to pay them taxes before you pay your tithes, right? So who's under that curse? Our people are. People is in this Bible, right? And in want of all things, he shall put a yoke of iron on thy neck until you have destroyed thee going through slavery, right? So a nation of Salaki, let me get down to the children part. That's the one, 28 and 48. Also like 28 and 53, Salakia. It's 53. All right, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down. When thou trusted thou throughout all thy land, he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land. Right, which the Lord thy God hath given thee, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body. When you're gonna tear down your own people, tear down your own family, right? And the flesh of thy sons and thy daughters, which the Lord have given thee, in the siege, in the straitness, whereof thine enemies shall distress thee. Right? Because when the enemies are distressing you, what you got to realize is the oppressor is on a domino effect right now. You think that Thanksgiving didn't oppress you. You think Christmas didn't oppress you. You think these holidays and you think smoking weed doesn't oppress you. You think, stealing and sleeping with their brother's woman doesn't oppress you. Society has made all that stuff look normal, right? It's made all that stuff look like an everyday business. There's movies, on TV. It's also a common thing. You look at the R&B back in the 90s. You love the R&B, 90s R&B. All of it was about sleeping with another man's woman. You know what I'm saying? The rap music now is about taking your beat. All that stuff now. It's a common thing to do things that the Most High simply said don't do. Right? It's what we're numb to it now. We don't really do anything to try to fight it. All right? And he shall besiege thee, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thy loins and thy children, and he shall distress thee, that the man that is tender among you. Well, that scripture is always, I know you've heard that scripture before, right? But they say the man that's tender among you, you don't have the heart. We talked about earlier in class about the heart. You don't have the heart to follow the laws of God. You don't have the, if you're a woman, you don't have a heart to follow the Most High God. Because I'm going to show you that with his sister actually having a heart, she would understand compassion for her sister, compassion for her husband or her children. We are taught to be very fierce against each other because of what has happened to us. And so it makes us soft. It makes us soft in the wrong manner if you're a man. It makes a woman hard in the wrong way, right? That lack of compassion for each other, that's a commandment from God, has made us try to ruin our households unintentionally, thinking we're doing the right thing, right? And it's very delicate, right? Very delicate, very easily offended, very easily moved, right? When you understand you have a belief system that is a factual, nobody can move you off of it. You have to be a plant trained. You have to be like the plant. It's a plant planted in water. So like I'm paraphrasing that scripture. A tree planted in the ocean. You ain't moving that tree. That's how you got to be when you believe in something. Because whatever persecution you're going to receive behind that, you'll have protection from the Most High. And whatever you're taking through, he may be needing you to go through that so someone else can see it. You got to be willing to sacrifice your life for this stuff. Sacrifice how you feel. Sacrifice everything, because when you do that, you're going to wake up somebody else. When they see you go through that, or he may want you to automatically prosper. Someone may need you to see you prospering in the truth. Everybody has their own situation. Like the man that was born blind. His whole reason for being born blind was what? So that day, Christ's righteousness could be shown. So we have to stop fighting the spirit of the cards that was dealt to us. Take them cards and build a nation up. Right? Man or woman, right? His eyes shall be evil toward his brother. That's what we got going on right now. We hate each other as men, for different things going on that brother may have or not have. Or you may not like the way that brother move, but it's his thing. We want to be in control of every aspect of our lives. When sometimes your only job was to be a brother or a sister. Your only job was to follow the Most High and be an example to that brother and sister. All right? His eyes shall be evil towards his brother and towards the wife of his bosom and toward the remnant of his children, right? Which he shall leave. So a lot of times, I'm telling you, a lot of brothers have broken homes because they allow a woman that, let's just say you got a woman that you may should not have had a child with. You have to be strong enough as a man sometimes to not allow her to do things that's going to push you away from your child. Now, it's situations where I'm not going to ever tell your brother to, give up his manhood, because you have to sometimes be willing to leave, if it's in a righteous way, right? But sometimes brother up and just leave completely, and that's not what you ever taught to do. You never should just leave and just, with no open communication. You can, there's different scenarios in that, but the spirit I'm talking about right now is that brother who got so broken down by that woman that he could not even come around his child. That's the spirit I'm speaking of right now. That brother who could not, who got emasculated because of a job, because of money, because of whatever was pressure on him, made him never speak to his child again for 20 or 30 years. Made him forget that child existed even when the child reached out to him. That's the curses our people up on them, right? And we're here today in the Isupk. Anybody that's happened to, if your father has left you or your father has been pushed out, if your mother told you he was a deadbeat and you met him when he was 30, give that brother a chance. Always be willing to give that brother a chance. That's what coming to the truth helps you do. Understand it's not just his fault why he left you. He was blame your oppressor. Blame him first. Especially if it was prison time or drugs or just, the typical oppression that happens to a black man that got to him. Don't hate that brother because he's gone. He was gone. If you're still alive, you may have been through some things, but you forget that brother. That's the commandment from God. You will free yourself by forgiving that brother, allowing that brother to come back in your life. And if you're in the truth, show him. That's the beautiful part. You're in the truth and you have a father that try to come back in your life, show him the truth. We got brothers in our school that their father, they outranked their father. They was in the truth and they brought their fathers in the truth. Right? That happens. And no matter what the relationship was, that brother had to forgive his father and bring him in the truth. That sister had to forgive her mother to bring her mother in the truth. That's the first thing we gotta have in this time we in. That's the first spirit you gotta be in, man. To let things go. When it comes to your brother and sister. Because when you do that, you remember what the hell your oppressor was doing to you. You remember what the bastards over here in Gaza are dying. You can take pleasure in that. And what's happening over here in Israel with the fake Israel. You can be happy about the fact it's getting wiped out. That America is coming up next to get wiped out. You can be happy in that regard because you know you're going to have your brothers and sisters. All right? Let's get that. All right? And toward your wife, right? Like I said, toward the wife and toward the children that you shall leave, that he will not give any of them the flesh of his children whom he shall eat. So we're going to keep reiterating that, you know what I'm saying, about how the law of God is what's going to bond us in these times that we're in. With World War III coming up right in your face, you're not fighting no war. Your war is going to be in your mind. Christ said the weapons of warfare are not carnal. That means you got to fight them demons in you, get over our self-hate, follow the laws of God, and understand the two main commandments, right? Loving God with all thy heart, meaning your actions of what you do every day, even in the dark, and treating someone how you want to be treated. And if you don't think you should be treated a certain way, you got to get yourself right. Get that demon out of you thinking you don't deserve that. Because you do. The Most High is telling you do. He chose you to deserve that. It's not up to you to decide whether or not you are a child of God. He's already ordained that. You decide whether or not you're going to get the benefits of this kingdom or not. All right? With that, we're going to cut the class here. If you got any questions, you're going to type in the chat. Or inbox one of us, we'll get right back to you. Men of Israel, Amajah, Shabbat, Amajah, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatah. Curse you to the sisters. Yahweh Shema Thamba Shem Yahweh Shai. Amajah Batah. Class dismissed.